So this is a circle. Okay? And the first, we're going to just review some definitions and vocabulary. When we have a point from the center that extends to a point on the outside, that is called the radius. All right? And if we have points on the outside of the circle that go across the whole circle and go through the center, we have a diameter. Notice the word diameter has the prefix di in it, which means two. Two of these makes one of those. You guys seeing that? Let me do it in red. This radius and this radius make the diameter, right? So one way you might see that is 2 radius equals a diameter, right? Okay. And then the last thing I want you to just make sure you remembered is what this is. And there's not really a better way to draw this, but if you go this distance around the whole circle, that is called circumference. All right? Now, with all that in mind, and again, I'm anticipating this is still review, we have an equation for the circumference. The circumference is pi times the diameter. You may also see circumference as 2 pi r, but two radiuses is a diameter. It's the same thing. Okay. We're also going to look at area, which is pi r squared. So those are the two equations we're going to be working with most today, okay? Circumference is pi times the diameter.
What?
And area is pi r squared. You might remember, maybe your teacher last year for Pi Day did something, that they found pi was the circumference divided by the diameter. Did you find that out? Like, sometimes you use a string. Okay, so check this out. If I want to get the circumference alone and I multiply both sides by diameter, that is the circumference equation. Pi being the ratio of circumference to diameter is the circumference equation if you isolate c instead of pi. Anyway, I also want to show you, and you might not believe me, but I'm going to try to prove to you that the area of a circle, pi r squared, is simply derived from the area of a rectangle. Base times height. You don't think I can do it, do you? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. No. All right, so check this out. Now, you have to imagine some stuff with me a little bit. So here's our circle. But it's an orange slice. You know, like if you slice an orange and you get the circles? And then there's like all the little slices like this? Okay? No, I just watch.
All right.
Okay, and then you break apart.
Those are all radius.
Shh. You break apart your orange and you fold it flat. Something kind of like that, right?
Wait, so the orange slices?
Yeah, it's kind of all the orange slices pointed up. What would this part of your orange slice be? The circumference, right?
Yeah.
Which is pi d. Or, actually, for the purposes of this, I'm going to use 2 pi r. But it's the same thing, right?
Or it's just a peel.
2 pi r. You good with 2 pi r being the same thing as pi d?
Yes.
Okay, so follow me here. If you were to break this right here, and then have one on the top and one on the bottom, you'd kind of have like a rectangle, right?
No.
I know it's just like a drum. Okay, so follow me here. If I break it right here, each side of that is worth half of 2 pi r, right? What's half of 2 pi r? Pi r. And what is this going to be right here in the circle? A radius. And if I do base times height, I get pi r squared. It brings a smile to my face every time I see that.
Oh no.
I told you I was going to do it. How crazy is that?
I told you so.
They're from the bottom.
Don't get angry.
So again, I take that orange peel, I split it in half. Half of 2 pi r is pi r. And then from the side of the slices is the radius, 2. That's right here. Okay? Pi r times r is pi r squared. Area of a circle derived from area of a rectangle. You didn't think it happened, but I made it happen. I can't take credit. Someone else showed this to me.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a.
So let's look at some of the problems you'll be solving tonight. Let's look at some of the problems like you'll be doing tonight. So you could be given a circle, and let's say the radius is 4 inches. I'm going to require you on the first 9 problems of homework tonight for you to give me 4 answers for this. Here are your 4 answers. You ready? You're going to give me the exact circumference. You're going to give me an estimate of the circumference. You're going to give me an exact area. And you're going to give me an estimate of the area. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So here's the deal. The number pi, is it rational or irrational? Which means if I want an exact answer, you have to use pi, because otherwise it goes on forever. You'd be writing the answer forever and you'd be nowhere near done, right? And we can't have that. I need you to do other things in your life than write the answer to one of these, okay? So for the exact circumference, your work's going to look like this. Circumference equals pi d. So that you know the circumference equals 8 pi inches. So this would be your answer for the exact circumference. Pi has to be in your answer to be exact. For your estimate, you can do 8 times 3.14. Well, not you can, that's what you would do. And you will get 25.12 inches. This is your estimate because it's just close. Now the estimate's really good because it helps you understand the circumference, okay? The exact is really good because if you're using it in other math, you can treat things in terms of pi kind of like an 8x. And then you can keep exact answers. Because if you're doing multiple steps of math and you're using an estimate, you can get further away from the exact answer. So a lot of times in math, you want to keep it exact until the end. Titus.
So, when you, but, isn't 8 times 3.14 and c equals 8 pi, isn't that the same thing?
No, 3.14 is just an estimate of pi. Pi is irrational. It goes on forever.
Yeah.
So they're not the same thing because 8 times pi is a number that goes on forever.
Yeah.
And 25.12 is just a number that's really close that doesn't go on forever.
Yeah.
So the exact answer has to have pi in it. So let's look at area. Area is pi r squared. I'm always going to write my equation first because we're going to be slinging equations everywhere, right? So the radius is 4. So 16 pi square inches is going to be my exact answer. For the estimated area, I'm going to do 16 times 3.14. And I'm going to get 50.24 square inches. James, question.
So instead of like pressing the pi button on our calculator,
You already
just
used
do
3
times Okay.
Yeah. That way everybody gets the same thing and it's
And
going
it's more simple.
to... Yeah. The pi button will use the actual whole pi and give you a big irrational number still.
Wait,
so Look in.
Pi button can
Hey.
tell you the whole pi?
Look here.
But after a certain point, the decimals and pi become so small that there's no point in even counting them.
That's all it has. It
So,
doesn't have the
If you're using it in computation with other circles, though, they could make a difference.
yeah.
Right? So that's why we're going to rock exact answers.
Wait.
Here's the type of problem that's going to be new for you in this unit. I think it's going to be new for you. Is if you're given a circle has an area of 153.86, you're going to be able to give the radius, the diameter, and the circumference. You have enough information to find those 3 things. So let's check it out. If I've got area, what's the only equation I know to rock that has area in it? A equals pi r squared, right?
Yeah.
So if I know the area, I can put the area in for area. All right? Now, we know how to do algebra, so we want to isolate the variable r. So how do I get rid of times pi?
You divide by pi.
Divide by pi. I'm going to divide by 3.14 in this case. Okay? So once I divide by pi, I'm left with r squared equals 49. Now, how do I undo squaring something? What's the inverse operation? Yeah. Square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and I'm going to get r equals 7 inches. So here's my radius. So how do I get my diameter?
Multiply by 2.
It's 2 of those. So my diameter is 14 inches. And how do I get my circumference?
Pi times diameter.
Pi times diameter. So 14 pi inches. Or, I'll just give you the exact. I'm not worried about you being able to slap that into 3.1.
45 something.
Okay? So how cool is that? I can give you the area, and you can find everything else.
I like it.
The thing kids forget is that this is just a number, right? So it's a symbol in our equation, but you can treat it like a number because it is a number, where r would be our variable then, right? Let's do something kind of crazy. I didn't do this with first hour. You guys ready for this? Let's solve for r without knowing what a is. So I could divide by pi. So r squared equals the area divided by pi, which means the radius would equal the square root of area divided by pi. So I could make a new equation called the radius equation if I wanted. It's the same equation. I just moved stuff around. I just manipulated stuff with algebra. That was kind of fun. How about that orange slice, though, man?
I love
Stop
orange
talking about
slices.
food.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm talking about circles, bro. All right.
The thing I don't
All right,
like
guys.
is